Hey, Spud here with Spud Inc String Straps with my man Dale. Today we're here to talk about some tools to take with you to your meet and how effective they were and versus back in the day and where we are now. Back in the old days, and this is my actual bag by the way from 12 plus years ago, we used to haul everything around, and we always tried to prepare for every contingency that we ever thought of. We'd have two of every single thing. We'd even take our boards. It was always, when you went to the airport, it was always, hey, we're gonna have to pay that extra heavy bag fee. But we really didn't care. Although sometimes we were trying to shuffle it back and forth, trying to get past it. But the reality was, we when we're out of town, we want to be prepared for anything. So recently, we just went to the APF Nationals to help a couple friends out at the meet, and the experience was there were just so many lifters, and it was just coming back, and it just felt like things were coming back and having everybody's having a good time. What we were talking about was what were some of the things that we wish we would have had back then.
Things have changed from now. A lot more stuff's available to help you perform, to help you recover than it was back in the last time that was used, for sure.
Right, and there's still baby powder and girls softball shorts in there from the old days. So one of our friends, Nick, he had a really hard time towards the end with a lot of cramping in forearms and quads, and
he had a good weight cut, but he didn't put the water back on like he needed to perform.
We learned some new techniques on how to try to relieve things. So Susan and I were trying to do that. Towards the end, it was helping out a little bit, but then Dale pulled out the compression band and started wrapping him and started working him.
Yeah, the mummy band was what I had with me. It's just I bring it to every meet that I go if I'm competing or if I'm handling somebody, because you never know when you're going to need some compression. It helps you to get to things a little bit easier. Nick's damn 330 pounds. It's hard to get into his quad and get it to let go. But wrap the hell out of him with this, and I was able to get him some relief, so I didn't bomb out of the meet, because he was real close to bombing out. He couldn't stand up, out of the chair when it come to the deadlift.
Right. He pulled 225, and then he just started cramping immediately. And that's when he couldn't stand up, and that's when we went to work on him. And we got through it, and then Dale started wrapping him. How many times did you wrap him? Do you remember?
I wrapped him 3 times before he deadlifted, and then after every deadlift, I wrapped him up and massaged him, trying to get his quads to stay loose.
So which part? You wrapped his quad, obviously. What else were you doing as far as that?
I started way down low on the knee where the quad inserts, and then just trying to loosen the belly of the quad up with that compression down here, just trying to lengthen everything, and then took it off, let him rest for a second, moved it up, and did the same thing. Took it off, let him rest, moved it up, did the same thing, and you could tell he didn't want to move it still, because last time he moved it locked up, but then he could actually stand up out of the chair, which, like I said, he pulled 225, and then that was his last warm-up for a 650 opening pull.
So yeah, that by itself is amazing to have just one warm-up and then go out there. But each time you wrapped him and worked on him, you loosened it up. As soon as you take it off, the blood rushes back up in there. So you're able to get more nutrients back up in there to kind of.
And we were feeding him lots of salt and lots of water too. So I think having all that extra blood rushing back into those muscles helped everything calm down and act the way it was supposed to. Yeah.
Now we got past that one, and then we had another guy that was in the meet, Old Man Mike. I can attest there's so many problems with Old Man Mike that. There's a lot of things you got to do to him just to help him survive through the meet.
He was another one that almost didn't make it through. There's always that,
right.
That guy in the group that barely scoops through on one of the lifts.
Well, back when I was lifting, I wish we'd have had some of these things that would help with the compression techniques, being able to wrap things with knee wraps and bow ties and all compression wraps and all these other things. Tell them what you did with Mike on his shoulders.
This one, this is a technique that it's real easy to do. You really don't have to know what you're doing. You just wrap the heck out of your shoulder to get that compression to help put the pressure on the joint, so you can kind of manipulate the joint a little bit, manipulate some of the muscles around it to get stuff loosened up. Mike was warming up and he was looking like crap, and Mike's one of those, he's just going to suffer through and do the best he can with what he's got. And I was like, stop. I was like, let me help fix you. So I wrapped his shoulder, just the normal shoulder wrap that everybody's seen online, and kind of put compression on it and worked on his triceps and a bicep a little bit. And he took it off, and it's like a miracle, like I'd never done it before. He was like, man, that feels much better, But it's just a simple, 3-meter Inzer gripper knee wrap. I'd always try to keep it in the bag with me, wherever meet that I go, whether I'm handling or whether I'm doing it. Always having an extra one. You never know what you're going to need to wrap, like Nick, or a shoulder for Mike. It probably kept him in the meet, because he, missed his last warm up in the opener.
Yeah, he looked terrible
in the warm up room, which is never something you want to do.
Right.
So we kept wrapping him. His shoulder didn't feel great, but it hung in there for the meet, which is the name of the game. Survive the meet. Sometimes you have a great meet, sometimes you limp through.
So yeah, that was Mike definitely needed that, and he's a little bit hard-headed about some other things. He just won't get a bow tie. But the bow tie is another fantastic tool that we saw probably 10 or 12 people at the meet to help do the same type of compression thing, and get that open up all that tissue, get that blood flowing, so you can hold the bars so that everything moves a little bit better and locks down less.
I've even got my this is my personal one that I wear. It's the old school, doesn't even have a label. These are the first ones that we made as prototypes, and I love mine so much because I made it exactly for me, so I love it. But yeah, it's great. We saw a lot of people wearing bow ties in between attempts, after squatting, before the bench, to help get everything relaxed and loosened up. Because after you squat, your shoulders, you feel like shit.
Yeah.
They're smashed, and now you got to go bench press. And nobody, not nobody, but most people don't do anything to get them feeling better. They just suffer through and have an okay bench, instead of actually feeling good and ready to bench and loosened up. And that's kind of what the bow tie does for you. It puts everything at ease and relaxes everything, where everything's all jacked up from the squat.
Right.
So that's a definite thing that, especially with all your shoulder problems that you had in the past, that would have been an awesome thing to have.
Seeing the bow tie at the APF Nationals and all the people wearing it and wearing it for squat, bench, and deadlift, you watch them just wear it the whole time, and helping their performance out, in my opinion. But
it's a difference maker, and it's not something that takes up extra time, or like you said, bringing that big heavy meat bag. It's a few ounces, so it's a no-brainer to throw in there.
we also got the big race wrap in here. Basically, you almost need another bag. I mean, we had one giant bag, but with all the extra goodies nowadays.
This is one that I've thought about, and I don't know why I haven't seen it more, but just thinking back on all the different things that you can do to make your meet day more successful. And everybody gets smashed during their squat. You're taking your heaviest squat that you've taken in months probably at the meet. So you're putting a lot of pressure on your spine, on your hips and stuff like that. When you see people laying on the floor and trying to stretch, but one of the best things that I've found to get my back feeling happy and healthy after a big squat is inversion. I love hanging upside down. Whether I'm squatting or sitting at a desk, I'll hang upside down. But especially on like heavy squat days, nothing feels as good as hanging upside down after you've squished everything out of your spine. You're 2 inches shorter, hang upside down. Well, why aren't people doing it at meets? When your performance is, where it's supposed to be the highest level. So it's a variable that just simply adding that in there is going to help your day go better, help you feel better.
Yeah, there's many a days where you you squat and then you jack up your back on the squat, and then you go to your bench, and of course, you're going to lock your shoulders in, and you're going to, a lot of guys arch backs, I did. So you're going to get a lot of pain there as well. So I think that if we'd have been able to hang upside down right after the squat, we would have had a lot more mobility going into the bench and less pain going in there, less cramping going in there. I know that was a big issue for me, was a lot of cramping in the low back. But if I'd been able to hang upside down for a little bit, it would have pulled all that apart. It would have given my glutes a little break as well. And the top where everything comes in together would open that up a little bit more. And I feel like I would have more range of motion and probably been able to get up under the bar better, to get to the deadlift as well. So I think after you bench as well, if you hang for a minute or two,
give you a little bit more juice for the deadlift for sure.
Right. I mean, whatever floats your boat. But I think if we'd have had this tool as well,
Bigger toes.
we'd have had a lot bigger toes.
Yeah, the boomstick, that's another pretty cool one. That, yes, it's heavy, but it is pretty compact. You can fit it in a meat bag suitcase, and it's a great tool for getting into the little areas that bug you. I wish we'd have had this at the meet for Nick. We would have been a whole lot better off. Same for Mike too.
Yeah.
Because you can use it for upper body, lower body, anything really. I mean, with enough pressure, it turns into a little mini ex-wife almost.
Right.
But it gets into the little nooks and crannies that the heavy ex-wife can't get into. And it's super easy to use.
It's got the beveled edge on it too, so you can get into very specific points. Say something's jacked up like this quad, we could have dug in the quad a little bit more.
Yep.
And opened it up, or you can get up into the pecs a little bit too. So many different tissues that you can manipulate with a boomstick, and it's small enough that you can take it with you. Again, you probably gonna need 2 bags this time, but I think having that tool around would have definitely increased our numbers and our recovery after the training as well. So I think it'd have been some less injuries going on for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and all this stuff is designed to help you recover at the meet, but also you don't feel like you've been run over by a train, or at least 2 trains. Sometimes you spend the whole next week and a half, limping along and not being able to train because you're so smashed from the meet. You're still going to have that central nervous system kind of blow out from the poundage and stuff, but why not make yourself heal up faster if you can actually take care of yourself during the meet instead of just trying to fix yourself after all the stuff you go through at the meet. Be a little more proactive and take care of it when it's going on so you can perform at the meet, but you also 2-3 days after the meet, you're feeling like, okay, I can get back to training now, instead of, I remember, sometimes it's 10 days before I want to, even look at a squat bar again.
All these tools we talked about today, I think, would make a huge impact in recovery and training and surviving. And really, that's what it's about. It's about surviving the meet and making your totals go up in the process. So these are all great things that back in the day I wish I would have had, but we had to be back in the day to be where we are now.
We have learned from the back in the day crowd and try to utilize all the new stuff that you guys didn't have to take advantage,
right.
To make our numbers a little bit better.
And I think the application goes to anybody, not just gear lifters. We just brought our gear bags out because they're very funny. The fact that we take so much equipment with us, prepared like we were moving to another country. We take all this with us, and we go to these meets to do these things. But it doesn't matter what you do. These tools can apply to any sport. So we just wanted to take a second and show you some of these things today, and we appreciate you listening.